More studios checking in, and we're in the studio manifesting our own reality. It was back in 2016 when I had a spiritual awakening and I started to dive further into this spiritual path. My best friend at the time told me, man, you're one guy who should be meditating. And I would be an on and off meditator, and he was an on and off vegetarian. So his words did hold some weight because he wasn't just a guy rambling, going through a phase, but he would explain to me why he would go vegetarian on and off. And it resonated with me because the synchronicity at the time was on point. It was at this time when I realized that I didn't want to consume flesh anymore. This is before I seen any documentary on food, Forks Over Knives, Food Inc., etc. And he told me that you should also be meditating, but you should do a 1 week of being vegetarian. I looked at him and said, I might hold you up to that. And I was vegetarian. I did become vegetarian for a week. I was eating a lot of pasta. I was eating a lot of rice, beans, and also vegan junk food. You know, the things they see in the store that says plant-based, but it's really trash. It's garbage. The tofurkey, the deli slices, that's what I was eating. And I felt great. I thought I would go into a vegetarian missing the taste of animal flesh, but I never really missed it. I missed the seasoning with that texture. I wouldn't say I missed eating meat, but that 1 week showed me, damn, I feel fucking great. This is how I should be feeling every day. But it wasn't the final step. So I told my boy that I was vegetarian, and we would talk. He was still vegetarian at the time, but I'll say about a month later, this guy came to my house with a bag of Chick-fil-A. And he said, I was like, yo, what's going on? He was like, man, I gotta get these gains. I was losing too much weight. So I know at that moment he wasn't all in. And what I realized after being a vegan, well, plant-based for 6 years, you have to be all in. You can't be on this shit because it's a trend. So when I accepted the challenge of becoming a vegetarian, I already had the download from the universe telling me to proceed. I had the universe send me the download telling me, yeah, this is your path. And it was in 2016. It was summer 2016. Well, spring 2016, when I was easing off of meat. The whole year 2016, I was easing off of meat, right? And I wasn't vegan yet. I was vegetarian. I was still eating pizza. Pizza was my Achilles heel when I was vegetarian. And I didn't really like the taste of meat after a while. While being on vegetarian, I noticed as I gained the consciousness in becoming this spiritual being I am, the taste and smell of animal flesh began to throw me away. It began to force me away from that diet I once knew. And notice I said the word diet. We're not supposed to be on a diet. In this English language, we curse ourselves out with the words we use. Words like fuck start to become offensive when we say words like good morning and diet. You're eating a diet because you're killing yourself. We say livets over here. I always loved the taste of fruit, so I started into finding that new love I had for fruits again. I always loved how refreshing pineapples taste. I always loved the taste and refreshment of grapes. But when you get caught in this matrix and you have a circle group of friends that's not on the same frequency as you, it's easier for you to get lost and away from your life mission. So I became vegan by having that realization that I was not sent here to be consuming other life forms that eat, sleep, and shit the same way I do. And if I was to eat a life force, I would have to be able to bring it back. And the only life force that we eat that we could bring back are plants, fruits, and vegetables. They come with seeds for a reason. This is nature's food for you. This is God's food for you. This is the universe's food for you. In a perfect world, if we were all operating at the highest version of ourselves, we will not be eating to kill. We will not be killing to eat, I should say. We would all be gardeners. We would all have fruit. And once we have our fruit, we take the seeds and replant them. Don't fucking talk to me about genetically modified organisms and how we need it for the environment. You don't fucking need that shit. They want you to think you need GMOs because of the population increase and all this bullshit. They want you to think you need GMOs because it's convenient for them. Grocery stores are a scam. There's enough land for you to have your own food. There's enough land for everybody to buy. I don't care if there's 12 billion people on the earth. The earth is not populated. We're just trying to live in popular places. Go in the Midwestern states. Go in Iowa, Nebraska. How much land is there for you to buy? Oh, but you don't want to live there though. You want to be in the city swagging out in the concrete jungle, eating seedless grapes because it's convenient. Not because it's more nutritious, but because it's more convenient. I became vegan by having this realization that we have everything we need. You don't have to go through man to meet God. You don't have to go through man to meet nature. You don't need to go through man to survive. You could go through the universe itself. Stop going through the middleman to find reasons on why you should live a certain lifestyle. We all weren't meant to live the same way. I like the concrete jungle. I be in New York City sometimes. I be in LA. I went to Italy. I be in the city. But that's not your real home though. That's just a hot spot. So I became vegan by knowing thy true self and going back to my roots, the roots in the ground. The whole world is insecure because we're not feeding our body the proper nourishment. They're taking the minerals and the vitamins out of the foods to develop a faster yield time and make lab-grown fruits to sell you. If you realize that they're selling you Frankenstein food, seedless watermelon, seedless grapes, seedless oranges, everything seedless, they making you seedless, they making your woman seedless, nobody's gonna have seeds anymore if we don't come up to this realization that we was born with everything we already need. All we have to do is just water our land and water our mind, nourish thy body and nourish thy soul. This is how I stay vegan, plant-based for over 5 years. I know what I'm doing to my body when I eat that kale. I know what I'm doing to that body when I'm eating that watercress. When I'm eating that kelp, that kale, even though I didn't like it at first, I found out that this watercress is one of the most nutritious, dense foods on the planet. Then that shit started to taste so good to me once I knew that. I realized how pineapples decalcify the pineal gland. Helps me become more spiritual. Helps me tap into my true self. I realized that the seedless grapes I was eating was convenient and super sweet, but they weren't as nutritious as the seeded grapes. So when you see the seeded grapes, you have to stop by and buy them. I realized that what they were doing, cooking the meats, how they prepare the animals, what they feed the animals, how they feed the soil, I realized that this is what I was ingesting in my body. That fried seasoned chicken didn't taste so good to me after I watched Food Inc. After I seen Forks Over Knives, that bacon didn't look so good to me. When you have that spiritual awakening and you realize that cow's milk is meant for calf's milk, it's meant for calves, not for human consumption, you'll look at that cow milk as pus and how disgusting that shit is. It's easy to become vegetarian and vegan once you know thyself and what you're eating. See, I don't look at food the same way as other people look food. I don't look at cheese as this cinderella block, this yellow cinderella block that's addictive, scientifically addictive for you to eat. I see the whole metaphysics behind this cheese block and how it's addictive and brings cholesterol upon the human body because we're not supposed to be eating cows. We're not supposed to be drinking cow's milk. You're not lactose intolerant. You're just not. Man, don't let me turn up on y'all. Everyone talking about how they lactose intolerant. You're not lactose intolerant. You're just not a baby cow. That's not for you. I had all these realizations back in 2016. And now I'm 6 years deep into the plant-based with no return. I'm only going further. I'm starting to see food as more as a luxury. I'm into more juicing now. So how I became vegan is by educating thyself, knowing thyself, and eating foods that energize me, not make me feel good. And it makes me feel good, but not as an emotional feel good. I don't use food as an emotional therapy. I use it as my fuel. Just like how you need fuel for your car, you need fuel for your body. So I became vegan by having this realization that we need to eat by design, not what people are telling us to eat. We need to eat how Mother Nature intended us to eat. So you need to become conscious of what we're doing to the body. Like everyone knows drinking is bad, everyone knows smoking is bad, but do you know those hot Cheetos are bad too? You know that, but you're still eating them. Why is that? Because you're addicted. So I became vegan by having the realization that the whole world is trying to pimp me and make me unhealthy so I could go to them, give them my money, and be under their care so they could sell me treatment. Nah, we exit the matrix by what we put in our mouths and what we put in our minds. So I became vegan by having a realization and by doing the goddamn work of watching what I put in my body, reading the nutritional list, not falling for the trap of greenwashing labels and labels to make it seem that foods are healthier than what they are. I go in the fruit aisle now, I see non-GMO organic seedless grapes. How the hell is that possible? Don't talk to me about how you can mix the hybrids of the seedless and I don't want to hear that shit. If my fruits don't got seeds, I don't want to eat them. And that's how you should be too. This is how I became vegan, man. step by step. This is part one because I became vegan in multiple ways. This is just a conscious video. This is just a conscious video. I'm gonna do the step-by-step video soon. I made a video on 5 ways you should become vegan using the acronym SHEEP. I'll link that in the bio. Watch that video as well. And while you're still in the bio, click the link, The Cage Bird Still Flies. It's my book on Amazon. Click that right now. More studios out. Until next time. Peace.